I'm going to tell you guys my own little healthcare story because I think this is really important to this story, on why I feel so strongly about this, because I've just been fucking slighted by doctors all day long. I was in college, and we had an infirmary that was covered as part of our tuition. It was what I had to go to because I couldn't afford to pay for doctor's visits all the time. You know, I didn't have any money in college, and I didn't have health insurance in college. And I know that, oh, you're under your parents' insurance until you're 25. Well, my parents didn't have insurance for me. They couldn't afford that. And that's not their fault. You know, my mom had insurance for herself, but she couldn't afford the payments if she was going to try to cover the whole family. And I wouldn't have wanted her to, drown herself in that for it anyway. And so I go to the infirmary, and at the time I was dealing with like sinuses, I was like sore throat, whatever. And they go in, they're like, it's just a cold. Like, you're probably fine. Just let it go. Well, the next evening, my eardrum ruptured because my sinuses got so congested and the pressure got so strong, it literally ruptured my right eardrum. And this was the most painful pain I've ever experienced in my entire life, like straight up. And I've broken a finger. I've gotten hurt and injured in football and in baseball. I took a line drive to the forehead when I was in 7th grade, I think, 6th or 7th grade. So trust me, I've taken some heavy damage, okay? And I'm a heavy mommy. I'm strong, but I've taken some damage. And this pain was like taking a knife and just fucking twisting it, and just twisting it all the time, and just for like hours. I literally went to sleep. I literally cried myself to sleep because of the pain. I couldn't make the pain go away. I maxed out on the amount of Advils I could take. At the time, I was living in the dorms in my freshman year of college, so I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I think I put on an episode of Community. It was like the paintball episode. I put that on because it was like one of my favorite episodes of that show, and at the time, that was when I had like started binging that show. And I did it to try to distract myself, and I somehow went to sleep, and I woke up. I was still in immense pain, and I ended up going to a fucking Minute Clinic in like a Walgreens or something after that. But I couldn't go that night because it was too late, and I knew I couldn't afford the emergency room. So I knew I had to just wait, and I had to wait it out, and I had this fucking ruptured eardrum, and they looked at it and like, oh my God, your eardrum's ruptured. And so they finally, they gave me the antibiotics, and lo and behold, that did help and whatever. But that was because a doctor was like too lazy to really fucking do anything, So my faith in doctors is pretty low already, as is, right? I already don't trust them. But then when I go there and they waste my time, right? I'm there on time. They make me wait fucking 30 minutes. And then I finally get in, and then they want to rush me out. Like, all right, cool. Yeah, you're fine. Bye. And like, that's always how I feel. I never feel like they value my time. I never feel like they actually want to hear my concerns. I never feel like they take me seriously. I've never enjoyed going to the doctor. And then on top of it, to add the fact that I have to pay $100 for the visit, I fucking hate it. I really do. And I believe in science. I believe in medical science. I believe that, there are good people in the healthcare system. But that being said, I have not had a good experience with fucking anybody. I really haven't. I would say my best experiences I've ever had, like with the medical system, have actually been dentists, which I know is like some people's like fear. But honestly, I had a really awesome dentist growing up. Shout out to Dr. Johnny Johnson. He's awesome. He was always like, he had amazing bedside manner. I felt like he actually remembered me. He was like a dentist done right. And I also, Dr. J, who's been on my podcast, he's been my dentist here in Chicago. Sorry, I haven't been in a little bit, but he's out of network, and that was fucking bullshit. And he's the shit, man. And I love Dr. J. But like, that's a rare thing for me in my experience. Almost all of my doctors have sucked. And the fact that I'm paying out of pocket and I'm paying all these costs for these tests, and sometimes they want to run tests. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, I don't really think I broke anything here. Can you just skip the X-ray? I really don't want to pay another $100, And if I didn't have to worry about the cost of every little test, then I could do those tests, and it wouldn't be like such a stressful thing for me. So I have my own personal vendetta about this stuff. These things have personally affected me, and I have seen how you can just be fucked by not having enough money. Now, luckily, I've never been in a position where I've not been able to afford a procedure that I took. But I have seen how I'm treated when I didn't have insurance, and it's horrible. There really is a difference, because when I got insurance and then I went to the doctors, I definitely didn't feel that same discrimination. So the whole thing, it's very classist. It's very like, if you're rich enough, you're fine and you'll get great health care. But then if you're poor, like, you're fucked and you will die, and you'll literally die. And there are, even under Obama's, Obamacare, I hate calling it that. I think it's a stupid name. But under that, the Affordable Care Act, that had no cost control. It had an individual mandate, and it basically allowed the insurance companies to just keep racking up the prices every year. The only way to do it is to make it a single payer system. You have to eliminate private insurance. I mean, there's just no way around it. And I get it, and it's unfortunate for the people who work in those industries, but like, we can't not do something just because like some people are going to lose their job. Like, I'm sorry, but like, progress is progress. Sometimes an industry is dangerous, right? The oil industry, like oil and gas, like, I'm sorry, but you're ruining the planet. So we got to divest from that, and we got to start investing in these other energies. And a lot of the people that work in those industries can go to those other things, and even those same companies can just change where they're putting their money. But I understand it's going to be disruptive. It is. It's inherently disruptive, and it is a real thing to think about. And I do think that it's important that we are just with the transition for the workers and giving them an opportunity to find other work, or to give them jobs within the government that can help maybe with this new healthcare system, right? Their skills might still be useful because they're familiar with what's going on with doctors and all that. But this system as it is cruel, it's evil, it's unusual punishment. It's just, if you came from any other place, you really would understand how fucking insane this whole thing is. So for me, this is my number one issue on this election cycle, and that's why I'm voting for Bernie Sanders.